Come on in. Come on in. I probably should have moved this before I went live, but it's okay. My voice carries. I hope everyone's doing well. We're going to do a Megan Thee Stallion, Megan Good and Jonathan Majors video, part two. Yesterday I had mentioned, do you girl, just be safe. Fall in love, just be safe. If she loves him, that's on her. Um, and I actually came across the video, popped in my lap, in regards to them dating or being together. You know, she had mentioned it, which I'm glad because now we can conversate. So let's go ahead, play the disclaimer, and then we're going to get into the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and please share. So thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and please share if you care. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about what's on Instagram, what's on Twitter, what's going on in the news around the world. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. And don't forget, the Cash App is Let's Talk About It Media. And have a great day. Stay positive, stay focused. Okay, so we're going to generally talk about Megan, and there's a disclaimer. I'll be doing other stuff on the back end. And she recently, Megan Good shares that Tyler Perry was the first person to pay her what she's worth. We also talked about that. So it's a beautiful thing that she's doing interviews. She's focusing on herself. Now that Jonathan is doing better, and she can now maybe focus back on her career, and maybe Tyler Perry was one of the first that's wanting to assist and help her with that. Just ladies, we got to be careful. We got to be careful of the men we choose to put into our lives, the men we choose to date. You know, their character should speak for themselves. Jonathan had his situationship, and now he's trying to do better, and he's trying to get his life together. So we get that. But our sweet, good old Megan, going from the marriage with Devon from almost 19 years, and then she was basically saying yesterday, Devon made the choice to want to walk away. So that's kind of interesting because we didn't realize that then. We didn't realize that then. So that's kind of interesting that Devon was the one that was seeking the separation and divorce. But why? From a beautiful woman that's smart, bright, intelligent, and she has her own, I think she has her own production company, or she produces. Let's just say it that way. She produces behind the scenes. She does stuff with community service. So there's a lot of good substance there. So you would ask yourself, after 9 or 10 years, why? Why walk away? Why choose to be with somebody else? Why get a divorce if this is the person you love and you want to spend time with? So that's flag one. Why did Devon want a divorce, want a separation, and not be together? Why? Something. But I'm happy that Tyler Perry is working with her on her career. We're gonna get to another part of the situation, but we're also going to listen in on what she said about the dating and her and Jonathan Majors dating. Now, what I caught was very interesting. She definitely wanted to keep something out in regards to how and when they met. She almost omitted it. So that means take it away, take the conversation away. She almost didn't want to tell people when, where. So that's interesting because then we would be able to figure out how long they had been friends or how long they were dating. Then she says something else interesting, baby. She had basically said that Jonathan was trying to walk away from dating each other. Huh? You can't make a man. Wait a minute. Jonathan was trying to turn her away from dating him. Okay, there we go. I'm going to say it the right way. So, not that she forced the situation, but she wanted to date him. And like I said, we don't know when exactly they started dating, met, or anything like that. But the biggest thing is, if a guy is telling you no, and a guy is saying you shouldn't date me, that says a lot. So he was probably trying to protect her image, and it seems as if she's not. She can do whatever she wants. Y'all know me. I love love. I love when couples come together. I love when they can be together, respect each other, have a good old time. But when people, your co-workers or ex-girlfriends have things to say, that's when it becomes, okay, what's really going on? So I'm trying to pull something up from this end. Hold on one second. And then we're going to get to the clips in regards to her talking about Jonathan basically telling her, you shouldn't date me. And it could be because of his ex-co-worker and what the ex-girlfriends had to say. So is she doing this for a career boost? Is she doing this because she just honestly loves and cares for him? No, we're going to see that there's going to be a possible shift in where people are already shading Jonathan. So we see that Megan is saying hello to Mike Ealy. Now, I told y'all he ignores Jonathan. He totally ignores Jonathan. Baby, let me tell you. When you ignore a man, he ignores him totally. He hugs Megan and ignores Jonathan. Baby, when you ignore a man, and now this is going to be on the internet for everyone to see, talk about, and they take a picture, and he's trying to be cool about him not shaking his hand. Now, maybe he shook his hand prior to saying hello to Megan. Maybe. So he didn't want to say hello twice. But he picks her up saying hi. Is it okay to pick another man's girl up? Now, this video is making it seem like, and see, Jonathan's looking away. I'm trying to be cool. So then they all take a picture. And Jonathan's like, okay, let's go and take this picture. But what do you think he said to Megan that night? Baby, let me tell you. So I'm going to say maybe he said hello to Jonathan before he hugged Megan. Maybe. But I told y'all before, I love a good fine man that's got some swag. Baby. And Mike Ealy has that. He has the swag. He has the look. He's just, he moves, and he's a good actor, and, he's not problematic. So when I did my video yesterday, I had said that they saw each other, but then I saw it kept popping up that Mike Ealy basically ignored Jonathan. You see him looking around. He's wiping his sweat. He's wiping his nose. He's wiping, putting his glasses up. Oh, Mike Ealy. So when you see this, maybe it'll come out. And my page, I try to be so fair. When you saw this, it may come out that he had said hello to him prior to Megan. Sometimes guys will do that. They'll say hello, dad it up to the guy, then they'll speak to the girl. Sometimes. But baby, if Mike Ealy ignored him that whole time, oh yes. Megan, and Jonathan had a conversation that night. Oh yeah, they did. They had a conversation because this is what the industry might do. We love you, Megan, but we may not like the choice you made. And that's okay. A lot of guys are happy if a girl can find a man that loves her, wants to date her, because the industry in itself is interesting because we have Hollywood, we have Hollyweird. But some of her friends may be concerned about her dating him. And there's another video that I have to do, but it's on my other phone. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, like I said, there was a conversation that night, because if this happens again in public, Jonathan is not going to be happy. He already dealt with a lot, and people maybe turning their back on him may kind of affect his feelings. It may. Because men of his stature, because remember, he was with Marvel making big movies. Jonathan was the next coming behind a good old Will Smith. Because whenever you can get linked up to Marvel, that's huge. Now, I don't know who took Jonathan Major's space. I kind of think that it's the one dude that has a long, I'm wondering if he's the one that took Jonathan's space in regards to Marvel. And the biggest thing is, it's a big decision of who you date when you date. Now, you got to remember Hollywood, Hollyweird, being a couple, just like a Will Jada. They want to be a couple because something about the older generation, something about you having, I guess, stability to find a good woman, someone to walk the carpet with. Oh, look at Will. Oh, look at Jada. They've both been in movies. So Will and Jada are basically saying, we're in it. We're in it. We're staying in it. They bring their family. They do the carpet. So we'll see what Jonathan's next projects are. Will he work with a Tyler Perry like Megan? I think I saw that Megan was in something for Tyler, and they had said something that the movie was similar to a very famous actor and actress. So I'm wondering if that's what he put her in. But a lot of people, they say Tyler needs to do a little bit better in regards to writing. They say that some of his writing skills, a lot of stuff is repetitive, that's out there, but to not stress out the actors is so repetitive. I could not get with a lot of his shows, sitcoms, movies. Now, his movies aren't as bad because you can't be too repetitive in movies. Like, what was that? The Good Deed or something? That wasn't too bad. But sometimes in regards to his shows, though, it's so repetitive. And it's almost like where the lines, I don't know. And maybe because there's a short span that Tyler Perry puts people in regards to making the project. Okay, we're going to spend 4 months, but somebody else may spend 5 or 6. Just to get everything right or whatever. And people have said that Tyler doesn't prolong stuff. He'll do stuff and it's like, okay, the project's done. We got to send it through XYZ. We got to make sure this is right. But Tyler tries to condense things so that way he can do more projects. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, so we're going to get back to this, but let's get to the Megan speaking about, and thanks for coming. Thanks for liking the video. Like, share. Let's talk about it.
I'm going to get too into it, but yeah, and it just was instant chemistry, but I wasn't really in that mind frame.
Don't forget, I have to stop it, play it, like the video.
About 4 months later, and I was like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And it did.
This is going to happen.
And then, as everything was unfolding, it wasn't that there was a moment that I decided I'm going to let the world in on this. It was
she took a beat to decide when she's going to tell everybody.
It just was instant chemistry, but I wasn't really in that mind frame. And then we re-met again about 4 months later. And And I was like, this is going to happen.
4 months later.
This is going to happen. And it did. And then, as everything was unfolding, it wasn't that there was a moment that I decided I'm going to let the world in on this. It was the...
Now, is she trying to say during his situationship? No, she said they met prior and then they met up again. So she was kind of like not wanting to tell everybody when. So we're going to get to the next clip. Y'all know I have to stop and play it, stop and play it.
Was the moment that I decided, I see you.
I see you.
And for us to walk through together, that's just what's going to happen. And I have to be okay with that, or not. And I was like, okay, well.
She has to be okay with it or not.
Moment that I decided, I see you. And for us to walk through together, that's just what's going to happen. And I have to be okay with that, or not. And I was like, okay, well, this is it. We'll see what happens, And so there was never a moment where we decided that we wanted to do that. It's just something that sort of happened. Someone saw us somewhere, going to a movie and then kind of reported it. And we, it was like, it was the moment that I decided, I see you. And for us to walk through together, that's just what's going to happen.
I see you. This is what's going to happen. So it was kind of like, should I try and date this person? Is this the right person for me? We're going to get to the next clip, and then it's going to help us understand their connection. It's going to help us understand their connection and what was going on between them. And then we'll talk more.
No, or not. And I was like, no, because people have a perception of you that's not true. A perception of who you date. That's not true. So if this is what it is, love, if that's what it is, then at some point they're going to figure it out. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, are you sure? He actually tried to encourage me to not be with him. And I was like, okay. It was the moment that I just shut it.
Did y'all hear that? He tried to encourage her not to be with him.
Perception of who you date. That's not true. So if this is what it is, love, if that's what it is, then at some point they're going to figure it out. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, are you sure? He actually tried to encourage me to not be with him. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right there, kids.
Honestly, the only thing that I've been a little bit more sensitive, shut it down or not. And I was like, no, because people have a perception of you that's not true.
So it sounds as if maybe he wanted to take a beat, get his stuff in order, and then present that they're together. When a guy is going through, he needs time to go through that, deal with it, and deal with it in his own time. If you push yourselves on them while they're going through, because guys are thinkers. Guys are thinkers. They try and process stuff. They try and figure out stuff. He knew he needed somebody to be on his side, but to pick up Megan good during the times of what he was going through, he knew that it was going to be an uphill battle of people speaking out of Megan, what are you doing? And he didn't want to deal with that conversation because he was already dealing with his ex-coworker saying something, his ex-girlfriend saying something, the one he had just broke up with, and the other ex. So he knew he was going to have to deal with her hearing what people were saying about him. So you got your case to deal with, and now you got to deal with what people are saying about people, you and Megan being together. He just probably didn't want to deal with that at that time. But he also knew having Megan was going to possibly help his case. And it did. Because he probably was like, well, wait a minute. If all these people are saying XYZ about me, but she's choosing me, I might as well go ahead and do it. I might as well go ahead and do it. because she can walk into court with me, be by my side, and it's like maybe he's not that bad of a person because Megan wants him. Megan, that she's a woman that's been divorced and now she's, separated from him and she's living her life. If Megan wants him, maybe behind the scenes he's changed or he's not that bad of a guy. So I think sometimes men and women in the Hollywood weird, they'll say maybe this will work for me.
Yes, love, if that's what it is, then at some point they're going to figure it out. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, are you sure? I mean, he actually tried to encourage me to not be with him. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right there, kids.
Honestly, the only thing that I've
Now, when a man tries to tell you, don't be with me, kind of let me deal with my stuff, but then it's like, nope. Okay, she wants to help me. She can help me through this process. And that's probably when him saying the Coretta, you're my Coretta. I got a woman by my side. It's going to help. Don't get me wrong. The court stuff, her being by his side probably did help. Let's get to the next video.
There will be critiques, like when Jonathan and I are on the carpet. I think I'm not bothered by it, but a part of me wants to protect him because I know how we are when we are us. There'll be paparazzi taking pictures, and I'm like, whatever. And I have to be like, baby, you gotta smile. And for him, it's in his face. It freaks him out. He's not about the celebrity. He doesn't like to do all the stuff. He just wants to do the art. And all the other stuff to him now, there will be critiques, like when Jonathan and I are on the carpet. I think.
So, is she wanting to get back into the business and he's a good person to get back into business? Because you got to know, Hollywood, just like a Will Smith situation, what happened in regards to Will Smith and Chris? Will Smith is back on, making movies and he's on carpets. So is she utilizing this to say, okay, you're going to have your down moments, but there's going to be an uphill battle, but I'm going to stay with him. And hopefully this will help her get roles, get plays, get whatever, some producing, because she does produce. So is she trying to look and realize that she wants to be there for when there's an up? Things are going up. Things are going better. Producers are looking to him because you've already been here. Hollywood will sometimes forgive and forget. Here we have Will Smith trying to get back on and trying to have the Oscars forgive him and try and waive the 10-year can't attend event. So is Megan making a good choice? Her choice, her life, her choice. Don't think that I don't see that this is a grown woman and she can make her own choices. She can. And she will, and she has. Let's listen to that again.
But a part of me wants to protect him because I know how we are when we are us. There'll be paparazzi taking pictures, and I'm like, whatever. And I have to be like, baby, you gotta smile.
She has to tell him.
And for him, it's in his face. It freaks him out. He's not about the celebrity. He doesn't like to do all the stuff. He just wants to do the art. And all the other stuff to him now, there will be critiques, like when Jonathan and I are on the carpet.
So what we don't want to see is another J-Lo and Ben. Ben don't like all the stuff. But J-Lo wanted to do the movie. She wanted to show what Ben wrote her. Women got to be careful, because if a man is just focused on the art and not all the fluff, she should be careful, because later on he'll say, I really didn't want to do that anyway. And it's almost like you made me do it. Maybe he felt that he should go in almost hiding for a year or two. And she's like, no, let's go out here. Let's do the carpet. Let's go ahead and go to the Jason Lee Awards. And then he was on stage crying on Ayanna Van Zant's chest. And people talked about that. It's like, you're a grown man. Why are you crying on her chest? You made decisions and you have to deal with that. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, you made decisions. So I'm hoping things go well for Meghan. We're talking about it because it's happening, and it's happening in our faces. And, you know, there's a lot of beautiful actresses in the world that are not problematic, and Meghan is one of them. Many actresses look up to Meghan. She was with Devon. She tried to do the Christian walk. She still is. She speaks about the man above. But many people are saying she's not problematic. And for her to date somebody that's had DV charges, DV concerns, and what co-workers had to say, and what ex-girlfriend had to say, the current ex-girlfriend, and the ex-girlfriend prior to her, there was a lot of comments about Jonathan. So prayers go out to Meghan. Girl, just be careful. Just be careful, girl. Just be careful, girl.
When we are us, you know, there'll be paparazzi taking pictures, and I'm like, whatever. And I have to be like, baby, you gotta smile. And for him, it's in his space. It freaks him out. He's not about the celebrity. He doesn't like to do all the stuff. He just wants to do the art. And all the other stuff to him now, there will be critiques, like when Jonathan and I are on the...
So let's go back to the other clip, because Jonathan tried to have her not date him.
No, or not. And I was like, no, because people have a perception of you that's not true. You know, a perception of who you date. That's not true. So if this is what it is, love, if that's what it is, then at some point they're going to figure it out. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, are you sure? I mean, he actually tried to encourage me to not be with him. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right there, kids.
Honestly, the only thing that I've been a little bit more sensitive, shut it down or not. And I was like, no, because...
That's big. This is definitely the video I needed yesterday, but I'm glad I did the video I did, but I am very happy that we're seeing this. Prayers go out to Meghan. Prayers go out to Jonathan. He wanted her not to date him.
He's like, are you sure? I mean, he actually tried to encourage me to not be with him. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Honestly,
listen to a man if you want, but if he's trying to tell you no, let's get to this.
Last 2 years where your faith has been tested the most?
For sure. Not this past year. This past year, I'm like, Lord, I know you're...
How has our faith not been tested this year with the Jonathan thing?
Making sure that I was there to give that to Jonathan. That's what I felt that I was there to do. Yeah. My faith has never wavered in that, you know, in that instance. But going through the divorce, that shook me to my core. I was just like, but Lord, you asked me to be celibate, and I was. You know, you told me to marry. I married that person. I tried to do everything to the best of my ability, and no, I didn't do everything perfect, but I don't know that I could have done anything different, if I'm being honest. And so I was just like, why is this happening? My greatest fear was for my husband to leave me after 10 years of marriage, the way that my dad and my mom separated. And that's exactly what happened. And it's just like, I don't understand it.
So prayers go out to Meghan. She was dealing with the divorce and the separation.
A lot of learning about myself even. It was a lot of realizing the place that we both were in. It was a lot of just like rediscovering God and realizing that sometimes the way that we see or understand things, it's not that it's not true, it's just you do come into different seasons. And I had to accept that if this isn't something I've chosen, but it's something that God has allowed, then God has allowed it for a good reason. And I think that we both have grown from it tremendously. I think that now, I think that at the time I was so mad at Devon, but now I think what he did was very brave. And I think that it was a very scary thing to know that the church and all the people, everyone was going to be like, well, this is not what a man of God or a woman of God does, you know. And of course, there were a lot of people who were like, well, Megan must have done something. And I'm like, what?
And yeah, remember how the church, Devon and Megan's stuff was about the church and how they would tell her what she's wearing, what she's dressing, her outfits, her hair. And I'm sure she got tired of that, and he probably did too.
But it's something that God has allowed. That God has allowed it for a good reason. And I think that we both have grown from it tremendously. I think that now, I think that at the time I was so mad at Devon, but now I think what he did was very brave. And I think that it was a very scary thing to know that the church and all the people, everyone was going to be like, well, this is not what a man of God or a woman of God does, you know. And of course, there were a lot of people who were like, well, Megan must have done something. And I'm like, what? You know, but I think that in order to grow to the place that we've grown, I think we absolutely were supposed to be married for that amount of time. And I think we got the best and the benefit out of it.
In the last 2 years,
I mean, she spoke from the heart. She spoke about the relationship with Devon. She spoke about the marriage. She spoke about he made a choice. And she was hoping that what her family, mom and dad, went through, it would not happen to her. So in going through that with Devon, did she make a choice to be with Jonathan because she just wanted to be, because somebody else made a choice not to be? Hello.
is the last 2 years where your faith has been tested the most?
For sure. Not this past year. This past year, I'm like, Lord, I know you're going to do what you do, and I trust you. Mm-hmm. And making sure that I was there to give that to Jonathan. Mm-hmm. That's what I felt that I was there to do. Yeah. My faith has never wavered in that, you know, in that instance. But going through the divorce, that shook me to my core. I was just like, but Lord, you asked me to be celibate, and I was.
So do y'all see the play on words, though? Do y'all see the play on words? There's a play on words in regards to what shook her was Devon's situation, but it didn't shake you of what Jonathan Major's ex-girlfriend had to say. That concerns me. But okay.
My faith has never wavered in that, you know, in that instance. But going through the divorce, that shook me to my core. I was just like, but Lord, you asked me to be celibate, and I was. You know, you told me who to marry. I married that person. I try to do everything to the best of my ability, and no, I didn't do everything perfect, but I don't know that I could have done anything different, if I'm being honest. And so I was just like, why is this happening? My greatest fear was for my husband to leave me after 10 years of marriage, the way that my dad and my mom separated. And that's exactly what happened. And it's just I don't understand this.
That could be concerning.
It was a lot of prayer, a lot of
that could be concerning, because her and Devon did go through a lot. They made a lot of choices to be together. They were in counseling. They wrote books together. It was a lot. And if things shift and change, and it's almost like, I wouldn't say force it, but they told a lot of people
about myself.
They told a lot of people what they were going through. Sometimes you got to keep a great relationship to yourself. She said she was happy that they were together during that time, and she's happy that they were in each other's life when they were. They made money together too. But you got to be comfortable. And I said that yesterday. You definitely have to be with somebody that you're evenly yoked with as well. Let's continue.
It's just like, I don't understand this. And so it was a lot of prayer, a lot of evaluation, a lot of learning about myself even. It was a lot of realizing the place that we both were in. It was a lot of just like rediscovering God and realizing that sometimes the way that we see or understand things, it's not that it's not true. It's just you do come into different seasons. And I had to accept that if this isn't something I've chosen, but it's something that God has allowed, then God has allowed it for a good reason. And I think that we both have grown from it tremendously. I think that now I think that at the time I was so mad at Devon, but now I think what he did was very brave. And I think that it was a very scary thing to know that the church and all the people, everyone was going to be like, well, this is not what a man of God or a woman of God does, you know. And of course, there were a lot of people who were like, well, Megan must have done something. And I'm like, what? You know, but I think that in order to grow to the place that we've grown, I think we absolutely were supposed to be married for that amount of time. And I think we got the best and the benefit out of it.
Okay, y'all, I just thought about something. Remember how she was with Devon? Devon's the Christian man, the Bible man, the book man, the producer. And here he is married to a woman that is also a Christian, but not Christian like him. So now it almost takes I told you I'm a thinker. It almost takes the pressure off her being with Jonathan Majors, because now the pressure's on what he is like, what he experienced. And it's not on her this time. Oh, you got to be careful. Did y'all catch that? In her marriage with Devon, people were always about her, how she looked, how she dressed, who she dated, the movies she did. It was a lot of pressure, thoughts, and feelings. Now, with her being with Jonathan Majors, she doesn't have to deal with that. People are focusing on Jonathan's concerns and issues, and she can be herself and feel comfortable and free. So maybe she did choose him for that. They're not focusing on her past, her movies, her dating, true Christian, not a true Christian, my outfit, you know, my next play, my next scenes. It's less stress and pressure. Everything's about Jonathan. It's not about her right now. She's about to make it about her because she's working with Tyler Perry, but it's probably less stressful. So I just thought about that. Him being an actor, walking the carpets with him, in regards to Hollywood, there's sometimes a downfall, but then the uphill battle, she wanted to maybe be there for that. I'm telling y'all that when you think about it that way, who else was she gonna date in Hollywood? Some of those people, they're rotated several times. They are. And then you see some of the same people dating the same people. And it's like, why can't y'all go date a banker, a baller? I mean, why is it always seems like the same people are together, break up? People are together, break up. Why can't people find somebody that's not in the business or the industry? Okay, so let's see what other thing was going on. And we talked about this yesterday. Some of her friends basically was telling her, don't date him. Her friends did not want her to date him. They did not. And she said she's going to do what she wants. She's going to make her own choices. Nobody can tell her what to do. She wasn't falling for it. Nope.
I'm just starting out and crossing into a completely different action, a completely different space that I'm excited about. You know, I still want to have kids, and I'm still going to have kids, and, you know.
Ooh, she want to have kids with Jonathan? Be safe, girl.
Does make you feel like, you know, you're past your prime, or if you have a pregnancy now as a geriatric pregnancy or whatever it is. I'm going to be 43 in about a month now. Oh, my God.
Crack don't crack.
Listen, in the name of Jesus.
All right, so she's doing movies with Tia's ex.
Prime. I'm just getting better, you know, and I'm excited about that.
Okay, everybody. So
in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm just starting out. In a lot of ways.
Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. She still wants to have children. So is that the reason why she wants to date Jonathan? Does she want to have kids with Jonathan? And if that's the case, then you're looking at a 1 year, 2 year span of time. Oh, children involved in it. People change. Situations change. Sometimes a man will grow and learn and not do the same things he did to his other ex. When I heard that, I was like, oh, Megan, her life, her choices. You can't tell a grown woman what to do, how to do it. She has to decide who is next to her. But everybody's seeing these red flags, though. Everybody's seeing these red flags. And it's not that she's ignoring them. It's just we see the concerns. We hear what the co-workers said. We heard in regards to generally what the court stuff said. But we also saw that he was running away from the situationship and she was running after him. That's kind of scary. You know, now that we have phones and we have cameras that show stuff, who texted him? Because you got to still remember, somebody texted him that night. We still don't know. I don't know if they ever said who texted him and why the girlfriend got upset. Either it was a text or a call. Note it in comments if you know. Either it was a text or a call he got that night, and that's what made the girlfriend at the time upset. And people are wondering if or who he got the text or call from. People are wondering, who did he get the text or the call from? Do y'all think it was Megan? Or do y'all think it was someone else? Do y'all think it was Megan or do you think it was somebody else? And did y'all ever find out what made her so upset? What made the girlfriend so upset? Was she concerned about feeling that he was cheating on her? And it was like just that night, she was fed up. Here we are, out and about. You're getting messages. And she just got upset. So if anybody knows, in the court case, did they say who the message was from or who the call was from? And what transpired about that? I just know that it was said in regards to the court case, there was either a text message or a call, and the girlfriend alleged was trying to grab the phone. That we do know. I'm going to play this again because people are just not coming in.
Starting out and crossing into a completely different act and a completely different space that I'm excited about. You know, I still want to have kids and I'm still going to have kids and, you know, I one day would like to get remarried and all the things. And so I think that society often does make you feel like, you know, you're past your prime or...
I could see her with Corey more so than Jonathan.
I'm maybe 43 in about a month now. Oh my God.
Black don't crack.
Listen,
Black don't crack.
Jesus, everything we go through brings something completely different out of us. To me, there is no past my prime. I'm just getting better, you know, and I'm excited about that. And
so y'all let me know how y'all feel about that situation, Megan. Okay, so we're going to generally talk about this. I was supposed to talk about this 2-3 days ago. The game. Alleged. The game has... I got to watch that. The game has a lawsuit that's been out there for years. He has an essay case. He was served the papers a while ago. She's been trying to get her $7 million from him in regards to the judgment. I think she's trying to go after his house. Yep. I think she's trying to go after his house. Now, there's several different reports out there that the game's house is alleged in someone else's name. And that someone else's name who's thrown in the hat is Whack 100. Now, I don't know if he really quick deeded his house over to Whack, or if he quick deeded his house, allege, over to his mom. But you got to remember, recently, the game was talking about, I'm doing my thing, I'm paying my bills, I'm paying my mom bills. So this lady has been trying to collect this judgment. So she's basically saying, in hopes of seizing his property to collect the $7 million. Baby, when you coming for his house, men have to be careful. We don't see the game in a lot of situations, but currently he was on that podcast with Tokyo Tony, Blueface Mom, and Rick Ross ex. So he was on that show, and he was talking about Black China, and he talked about time with Black China. And I think with the Kendrick Lamar thing, And everybody was saying, well, where was the game? Why was he not there? And maybe he wasn't invited. I don't know. And maybe they had said the game had picked a side. And I think he's like on Drake's side because he can call Drake for tickets. Drake has been there. Drake has put him on some kind of music to, they collabed before. But the biggest thing is he also alleged has Evelyn Lozada's daughter pregnant. Now, she did a whole photo shoot. Evelyn Lozada did a whole photo shoot, and the game was nowhere to be found. Baby, let me tell you, everybody was going in saying, where's the baby father? The game couldn't take one picture with her. And people had said that they've seen them together, going out to dinner or something. But I don't even think he's really claiming or saying they're together, and maybe he's just focused on his career. But you have a whole child coming into this world. Why are you not saying, yes, me and Evelyn's daughter are together. Yes, I'm having a child with her. Yes, we've been together for a while. Why is he not saying anything? And I saw the post. I saw the post when it first came out because everybody's like, who's the baby father? Who's the baby father? And I was holding on to that. Sometimes I be busy and I just don't want to go live sometimes. So then I think I did a post about it, but yeah. Now, I don't know if the game is in a serious relationship with Evelyn's daughter or not, but baby, the young lady, and to see, people probably don't know. Let me go back. The game had a dating show, and this young lady alleged got grabbed in a way she felt uncomfortable, and they caught the grab, how he grabbed her under her skirt or dress or whatever, alleged. They caught it on video. So that's how she was able to sue him. They'll say a lot of times trying to collect a judgment or getting money from a judgment sometimes isn't easy. So she's trying to, seize his property. She's trying to. Yeah. She's trying to get her money. And see, Whack is mentioned in here. Serve the rapper and Whack 100 with a notice of the levy in hopes to seize his property to collect. So she must have heard that Whack was a part of having the alleged property, and the game might have put it in his name. Well wishes to the game, because he hasn't done much, and that's maybe why he just didn't want to have her collect that. Now he's back out there because, of course, if he does have a child coming with Evelyn Lozada's daughter, then he is going to want to try and, get his funds up. He got a whole baby on the way. And I don't even think he's made an announcement. I don't even think he showed the pictures of her being pregnant on his page. I do like the time that he do spend with his daughter. That's cute. And I'm trying to remember how old his son was. So couldn't he have put the house in his son's name? I don't know if you could do that, though. And maybe he just didn't want to get his children involved. And maybe he didn't want to get his mom involved. Of course, she has property. I don't know if it was property she had already purchased and he just helped her with her mortgage. But, I think they say the game and Whack 100, the Whack 100 is like his manager or something like that. Just like Whack is Blueface manager. So yeah, I didn't know if y'all heard this. I wanted to do a video on it. Prayers go out to the game. There's a lot going on. He had a lot to say about Blac Chyna, and Blac Chyna did not like it. And I don't blame her. Why would you go on a show and Blac Chyna is in a relationship